4 years in a Crenari cage had taught Kenneth Walker one truth. The arrogant always make a mistake. Tonight they paraded their mistake for the galaxy. The Vexus Prime, a 3-kilometer behemoth, hung above the throne world. Inside, the commissioning ceremony wheeled their prize into the spotlight.
Walker watched every twitch of the energy field, every boot step of the guards. He'd waited 4 years for this.
Behold the human animal. Does it still gnaw at the bars?
Let them believe he was broken. It made the next part easier.
A sudden flicker. The energy field faltered. A split-second gap in the humming wall of force.
A destabilized node. He'd exploited that exact flaw in a dozen captured ship drills.
What is it? Does the creature miss its dirt mound?
Keep laughing. The doctrine said arrogance was a weapon, and he'd just been armed.
Kenneth Walker sat perfectly still, a predator in plain sight. The Crenari had just sealed their fate.
Your species is weak. Look at you, caged like an animal. The Vexus Prime was built to crush your world.
The node shimmered again. 4 years of patience came down to this flicker. Let me show you what a dead species can do.
He rammed the shard into the emitter. The cage's energy died. Walker lunged. The shard found the heir's throat. Chitin split. Blue blood sprayed. The hierarch's sun hit the deck with a sound like breaking crockery. His ornate armor did nothing. The grand ceremony became a slaughter pen. Guards shot at shadows, and the crowd crushed itself. A pulse bolt scorched past. Walker rolled, snatched a fallen rifle from a guard's grasp.
3 guards blocked the exit. He'd trained for worse odds. Time to push.
He sprinted for the bridge, rifle tight, blood dripping from where the cage's teeth had held him. The corridor widened into a security checkpoint. He'd memorized the layout. 4 armored Crenari guards and a scarred officer blocked his path.
You are insane, human. There is no escape. You will die here.
Walker studied the scarred officer. His insignia, the captain. Seize him and the biometrics would unlock every door.
He fired twice, dropping 2 guards before they could raise their rifles. Vex dodged and lunged with a serrated blade. The Crenari captain fought like a veteran, but Walker had spent 14 years learning to dismantle alien command personnel. He caught the blade arm, twisted, and slammed Vex's claw onto the scanner pad. The device beeped, bridge access granted. DNA authentication confirmed. Welcome, Captain Vex.
The biometrics were only 1 layer. The bridge door was a fortress, but he had the key.
He hauled the unconscious captain into a maintenance shaft and sealed the hatch. Alarms wailed somewhere below.
Above, the bridge door loomed, a massive circular vault. He pressed the scanner. It glowed green.
The bridge doors screamed open. 6 Crenari officers turned, their 4 eyes wide. Walker stepped in and raised his rifle.
Initiate emergency lockout. Bridge section. Authorization. Vex 1. This bridge is now under my command.
A klaxon blared. Crew dove for escape hatches as the main consoles went dark. The bridge sealed with a hiss.
Sealed. 14 years of CVOD training had prepared him to pilot an alien behemoth alone.
The ship's holographic status board flickered, then surged to full power. Weapons, engines, shields, all answered.
Override command authorization. Walker, Kenneth, Earth Navy. Transfer route control to this station.
The AI resisted, demanding fleet codes. Walker injected a CVOD rootkit, shattering its protocol chains.
The ship was his. Every gun, every engine, a single human commanding 3 kilometers of alien fury.
Then the navigational display refreshed. A sealed file blinked in crimson. Project Vindicator, target, Earth.
A doomsday weapon. Hidden here, for Earth. His escape had just become something far bigger.
Walker's fingers flew across the alien interface, peeling back encryption layers he'd memorized in Black Ops simulations. Project Vindicator, Continental Fracture Device. Deployment window, 14 standard days, Target, Earth, third planet.
That the Krenari never intended to keep him prisoner. He was a trophy, a distraction while their real weapon pointed at Earth. CVO Doctrine Case File 7. When an enemy warship carries strategic weaponry, the pilot's mission extends beyond escape.
He'd run this exact scenario 100 times in the sim pits. The doctrine was clear. Seize the initiative. Strike the launch control.
Computer, plot a jump to the Krenari homeworld. Maximum military thrust. Override safety locks on ventral core coupling.
The ship's voice protested, citing regulations. Walker silenced it with a hard override. He wasn't asking. The Vexus Prime's engines woke with a subsonic growl that ran through the entire spine of the flagship.
No backup, no fleet. Just one stolen warship against an empire. But the clock was ticking, and Earth wouldn't save itself.
Stars bent around the prow. Kenneth Walker, former prisoner, pushed his stolen flagship toward the heart of the enemy. Vexus Prime dropped out of warp space near a relay beacon. 3 Krenari patrol ships were already there. Weapons hot, a signal screeched through the bridge. Stolen vessel. We know you are one human. Surrender, or we will board.
You've got my answer. Keep talking while you can.
Walker tapped the targeting console. The flagship's main guns rotated with a low, hungry whine. Before the patrol could split, he unloaded a full ventral volley, stripping shields from the lead ship. Alien plasma bolts splashed against the Vexus Prime's hull. A shock rattled the deck, but the armor held. He bracketed the second with point defense fire. Then a beam sliced it amidships. Atmosphere gushed out. A torpedo clipped the port nacelle. Damage minor, coolant leak on deck 30. Walker disabled alarms.
He opened a channel. I am bringing your warship back. Tell your hierarch his flagship is coming home. Damage minimal. The path was clear. Krenari High Command would be scrambling, but by the time they formed a fleet, it would be too late.
The Vexus Prime dropped into the Krenari home system, a predator above their glittering capital. Alarms across the planet screamed.
I am one man. I will give you 1 hour to evacuate the government district. After that, I will reduce it to slag.
His face bloomed across every screen on the planet. Holographic, unblinking, absolute. The Krenari watched in disbelief.
He is bluffing. A single human cannot operate that ship. Every warship, fire on the Vexus Prime now.
Walker didn't argue. A massive holographic countdown materialized above the capital. 59 to 58, 59 to 57, 59 to 56 in the command center. Aides screamed contradictory orders. The hierarch's son was dead, his flagship stolen, and now a clock. Below, the government district vomited traffic. Civilian skimmers choked the sky lanes, fleeing the projected strike zone.
The evacuation was real. Good. He hadn't come to murder them. He'd come to show them what happened when they forgot who they'd caged.
The hierarch's orders cut through the chaos. All planetary batteries fire. The flagship must be destroyed before the timer ended. 59 minutes remained. The Vexus Prime's weapons were hot. The Krenari had a choice, and so far, they were choosing war. The Krenari tried to jam his signal. Walker simply routed through the planet's own relay grid, then returned a pinpoint burst that fried their cyber warfare suite.
They'd try anything now. Desperation made empires stupid. Another CVOD lesson he counted on.
A warning chirped. Breaching pods had attached to the lower hull. A Krenari commando team was cutting through. Walker activated internal defense drones. They swarmed the corridors, firing on the borders. Still, one squad pushed through, reaching the bridge approach. Walker sealed the section and decompressed it.
They chose to stay. That's on them.
He pulled up the visual feed. The Hierarch's palace still blazed with lights. Officials clustered on its terrace, unwilling to flee.
I will not abandon the seat of our power. He is one insect, and we are the hierarchy.
That arrogance would be the last mistake of the Krenari government. He had warned them. The blood was on their chitin.
30 minutes left on the clock. Evacuation streams showed the district nearly empty. Walker settled back into the command chair. The planet's surface batteries opened fire. Dozens of plasma-hulled missiles streaked upward, a closing net aimed at the Vexus Prime.
Walker saw the signature flares. He rerouted power aggressively, pulling from life support to shield capacitors.
The first wave hammered the forward shield. The ship bucked violently, but the glowing envelope held.
Easy. Just a little more. The shield generators screamed, but the structure held.
At T-5 minutes, an Earth channel override lit his board. Admiral Rice's face appeared, drawn and calculating. Kenneth Walker, this is Admiral Rice. You are ordered to abort. We have a diplomatic settlement. Return the ship.
Walker read the transmission source. Black Ops Division, the same office that had burned his team. This wasn't command. This was cover. You think I'd ever trust your voice again?
He killed the channel. The countdown kept ticking. 2 minutes left. The Capitol's palace still glittered below. Walker's hand steadied on the firing console.
He cued a deep dive into the ship's diplomatic archives. The file was camouflaged, a trade accord, labeled Resource Allocation.
Walker cracked the encryption. The real files unspooled, memos between Earth's Black Ops Division and Krenari Intelligence. Subject Walker, Kenneth, CVO'd asset. Deniable. Transfer to Krenari as part of Research Exchange Pact.
His capture wasn't a failure. It was a trade. Earth sold him. CVO D, deniable asset. He was always expendable. You sold us out. Now watch.
Every screen across the Krenari homeworld flickered. His broadcast wasn't a threat. It was an indictment. The encrypted memos, scrolled in an unbroken chain. Earth officials trading human prisoners for Krenari tech. His name among hundreds.
The timer hit 0. The galaxy was watching. His finger rested on the trigger, not yet pressed.
The countdown vanished from the sky. Silence. Then the Vexus Prime's guns began a slow, deliberate charge.
He'd given them every chance. Now the galaxy would learn. A human chained is not a human broken. It's a human waiting.
He cut into Earth's civilian news hubs, hijacking every feed with the damning audio. The CVOD subjects are expendable. Admiral Rice's voice, recorded in a Black Ops brief, played on loop. In Earth's command centers, the recording echoed through stunned silence. Outside, the Capitol was already burning.
This human is disgracing us. Silence the broadcast. Cut all relays.
But the council fractured. 3 ministers demanded immediate surrender. The rest screamed for blood. Yet on the tactical plot, Krenari warships still converged. The strike window would close in under 3 minutes.
Fire now, or let them regroup. No more waiting. He'd given them every second.
Walker finalized the target lock. The Hierarch's palace, the command nodes, the central spire.
Target lock finalized. For Earth's betrayed. For my team. For 4 years.
The Vexus Prime's main guns screamed full charge, a keening whine that filled the silent bridge. Krenari fighters rammed the shield perimeter, one after another, a suicide drive to stop the firing sequence.
Too late. They'd never understood that a trapped human wasn't weaker, just more patient. For the 4 years.
The Vexus Prime's main batteries answered. The sound was a world-ending, a column of orange-white fury, punched through the upper atmosphere. Silent as a held breath, the ship shook, alarms howling. Walker watched the beam vanish into the clouds below. Then the emergency lights kicked in. The bridge went crimson.
He'd done it. The shot that would burn a government and save a species.
The Vexus Prime drifted. Lights dimmed, her guns cooling in the sudden silence. Kenneth Walker sat in the dark, and below, an empire was discovering the cost of arrogance. The beam touched the government district, and the city vanished beneath a dome of expanding fire. The Hierarch's palace folded inward, its spire snapping like a dry bone. A secondary blast erased the command complex. From orbit, the capital was a wound of red and black. Smoke punched through the cloud deck in silent gouts.
He pulled up the civilian scan. 97% evacuated. The targeting had held. He'd kept his word. It's done.
The Vexus Prime's reactors groaned. Weapons capacitors drained to critical lows. She couldn't take another hit.
The Krenari remnant fleet would regroup soon. He had one shot to leave before they boxed him in.
He began powering up the jump drives, rerouting every spare amp to the FTL coils.
He'd destroyed a government, not a people. That was the difference CVOD had drilled into him.
The Vexus Prime turned its scarred prow toward deep space. The burning capital receding in its wake. Engines flared, and the Vexus Prime clawed out of orbit, leaving the burning capital behind.
A blip on the sensors became a shape. A Krenari dreadnought, massive and closing.
The dreadnought fired a full volley, but the Vexus Prime was already out of range.
To the Krenari people, your leaders built this war. I ended it. Remember what happens when you chain a human.
His final message rippled through the Krenari relays, unopposed.
They'd remember. Not the Empire, but the lesson.
He engaged the jump. The stars stretched into threads, and the Vexus Prime vanished, alone on the bridge. The only sound was the hum of the drives and his own breathing.
He'd traded 4 years for this. It wasn't justice. It was a down payment.
The Vexus Prime cut through the hyperspace void, bearing one man and a truth toward Earth.
In the long quiet of hyperspace, Kenneth Walker pulled up the memory file he'd locked away for 4 years.
The ambush played back. His squad pinned down on Station Altaris. Krenari commandos flooding the bay.
They were waiting, because someone told them. Earth sold us to test their new jamming tack. I was meant to die there.
He returned to the Vexus Prime's logs. The encryption peeled away, revealing another layer, a deeper vault.
Names. Earth officials, not just spooks. Sitting counselors, a trade secretary, even a journalist who wrote denials. All of them signed transfers, authorized the exchanges.
He copied the list to a secure data chip. A jury would never read it, but Earth would.
He wasn't coming back as a hero. He was coming back as a reminder they couldn't bury. They'd tried to erase him with paperwork. Instead, they'd written their own indictment.
The Vexus Prime pressed on, carrying one man and a list toward a homeworld that had never expected his return. The Vexus Prime dropped into the solar system, and every sensor net in the inner system lit up. Human defense forces scrambled, 8 destroyers and 2 cruisers forming a hasty perimeter.
Earth Command, this is Lieutenant Kenneth Walker. Returning, captured vessel Vexus Prime. Requesting safe passage.
The channel hissed silence. Then Admiral Rice's voice came through, cracked and uncertain. You are ordered to power down all weapons and prepare for boarding.
Power down for the same people who sold him? Not yet. I'll power down weapons. But shields stay up. You know what I found?
In the command center, officers exchanged glances. The footage of the capital's destruction was still fresh. Across Earth, civilians watched the live feeds, holding their breath. Kenneth Walker settled into the alien chair and waited for the verdict of a world he'd saved and damned. A news drone buzzed low over the landing pad, broadcasting a single question: hero or terrorist? The Vexus Prime set down on the military tarmac, its scarred hull groaning. A ramp extended and a single figure appeared. A high-ranking officer stepped forward, face unreadable, and raised a crisp salute.
Lieutenant Kenneth Walker, reporting with captured vessel. She's all yours.
The officer's hand stayed raised a beat longer than regulation required. Then he spoke. Welcome back, Lieutenant. In the command center, screens showed the live feed. Officers watched in silence.
He handed over the control cylinder, a small alien thing that felt heavier than the ship itself.
Engineers and scientists swarmed the Vexus Prime, But Walker didn't look back. He had traded 4 years for this moment. The galaxy was watching, and for the first time, he was home. Weeks later, the news feeds ran a single story. Corrupt brass purged. Krenari envoys sue for peace in a sparse office. A general slid a commendation box across the table. The metal inside caught the light.
He didn't touch it. 4 years in a cage couldn't be balanced with brass. I don't need a medal. Give me a classroom.
The general paused, then closed the box. The CVO'd program was expanding. They needed instructors more than heroes.
Then he'd teach. Not vengeance, but vigilance. The doctrine that saved him would save others.
Outside, the Vexus Prime sat in a dry dock, its hull swarmed by engineers. Every component was a lesson.
He'd flown it alone. Now it would train thousands.
The academy was under construction. Its first real foundation, the story of one man who had refused to stay caged. The Vexus Prime became Earth's greatest classroom, and Kenneth Walker, its first instructor, 4 years after his return. Kenneth Walker stood in a lecture hall overlooking the dry dock. The Vexus Prime, now a training vessel, sat silently outside.
The captured vessel operation doctrine isn't about brute force. It's about patience, exploitation, and knowing when to strike.
A young cadet in the front row raised her hand. Her name was Ellis, and she always asked the questions no one else would.
Sir, is it true what they say? That you bombed an entire city?
The room went stone silent. Cadets looked at each other, then back at him.
He'd known this question was coming. Every class eventually asked it.
He turned to the viewport, where the Vexus Prime stood, its gun ports dark.
They needed the truth, not the sanitized briefing.
When he faced them again, a faint smile had replaced the mask. The answer was about to be given.
The doctrine works.
He tapped the podium twice, the sound echoing through the silent hall. Then the applause hit him. A full-throated roar from 40 cadets who finally understood.
Not a city. A government. Not murder. A warning. The doctrine worked?
The standing ovation lasted a full minute. Walker simply watched, the ship's silhouette filling the window behind him.
They'd be ready. The next time an empire underestimated a human pilot, there'd be a whole academy waiting.
His smile deepened. Not pride, but peace. The kind that came from a debt finally paid. As the applause faded, he gathered his notes. The lecture was over, but the lesson would echo.
Sir, will you tell us the rest?
Walker paused at the door, his back to them. Then he nodded, and the room erupted once more. The Vexus Prime never fired again, repainted in Earth's colors. It orbited as a guardian and a reminder. In the academy hallways, a simple nameplate marked his office. Instructor K. Walker. Generations of cadets passed through those doors, learning the doctrine that had stolen a flagship. The galaxy settled into an uneasy peace. The Krenari rebuilt their government, smaller and humbler, and in a lecture hall, a retired pilot with gray temples would point to a 3D schematic and say,
"A locked door only matters if you accept the lock."
The Vexus Prime sailed on, no longer a weapon but a lesson. And Kenneth Walker, who had caged nothing but his past, taught others not to break their chains, but to pick the lock. The stars stretched on, and humanity was no longer afraid to walk among them, because one human pilot had reminded the galaxy what hands unbound can do. The CVOD Academy deck lay silent, save for the hum of distant stars. An old leather chair sat facing the viewport, the seat worn smooth from years of use. On the armrest, a faded copy of the CVO Day manual, its pages marked and tabbed. It was the same manual he'd written, the one that now trained every pilot. Outside the viewport, a faint light moved. The Vexus Prime, on its final training cruise. The chair would be filled again tomorrow. Another class, another story. Tonight, though, it belonged to the silence and the stars. A lesson had been learned. The doctrine worked, and somewhere out there, a human pilot slept quietly, Knowing he had left the galaxy a little safer, the camera lingers, then fades to black.